Okay, so you guys wanted to be top tier warriors. Well, too bad you were stuck with Minecraft.
Seriously though, hello guys. This is really just for friends. I'm picking an easy striking dummy here. I'm gonna go over just like my own opener, and just kind of like some basic warrior stuff. I'm not sure if I'm gonna complete the striking dummy. Might do a couple of these, but yeah, let's just jump right in. So I'm a main warrior, not the greatest warrior out there. I'm sure there's better things out on Reddit. I'm sure there's better openers, but this is what I use, and it's been parsing me pretty decent. At least for like an armchair warrior type, it's been decent so far. So I open up using the Storm's Eye combo. So that's going to be Heavy Swing, Maim, Storm's Eye, and you saw me, I automatically hit Infuriate. I want to hit Infuriate pretty much as soon as I walk in, and then I'm pushing for Storm's Path. Pretty much with the later tier warrior, you're hitting Storm's Path constantly. I'm going to drop off 2 Fell Cleaves here, but that's not really part of the opener. That's just kind of what we're working with. So I'm going to redo my opener really quick. So I open with Storm's Eye, and then I'm just going to hit the Path combo. I'll hit the Path combo until I get up to the full 100 here. And in fact, I don't even need to do that. So I'm going to get almost up to 100. We're going to clip a little bit here. I'm going to clip over to 100%. Oh yeah, do not worry, do not worry. I'm going to do this a couple of times. I'm actually going to go through it a few times, just because I'm not doing this the most organized way I can do it. But yeah, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it a couple different ways because I have 2 main openers that I really work with. I have the same kind of basic opener. So hang on, I'm just going to clear my palette real quick. So we'll clear that out and start up again. So let's say I'm starting this dummy for the first time. I'm going to open up with Heavy Swing immediately into Infuriate because I want the refresh timer to be counting back. Then I'm going to hit for Storm's Eye. Then I'm going to keep going and I'm just going to hit Path. I'll hit Path the entire time. And this is what I'm going to call the 8 Fell Cleave combo. So I hit Path. I'll go through maybe one more time for Eye. I don't really need to go for Eye in this case. But I might leak in one more time to get Storm's Eye to make sure that's at max. Then I'm going to wait till it cools down all the way, and I'll hit my Infuriate Zerk. And that's 2 Fell Cleaves, 3, lacing in my off global cooldowns, 4, 5. I still haven't dipped into my Beast Gauge yet. 6 is in my Beast Gauge, 7 right there, and that's my 8th right here. Storm's Eye is just about to pop off. The next version of this will come up after this, and I'll actually probably have to do this again with a second striking dummy because I think this one's probably going to die or I'm going to get kicked out of it. One of those. So let's see. We're going to get Storm's Eye back up. Let's see if I can kill this dummy. Kind of been zoned out here. Let's give this a shot. 19 seconds. Let's see if we can do this. I don't know how much these Fell Cleaves are hitting for. This is a Shinryu X dummy, so. Oh, come on. Zone out and still win. No, I did not succeed. But anyway. Thank you. So that's kind of the 8 Fell Cleave setup where you build up and you're going to open up, you're going to build up your Beast Gauge until you have it at 100%. That last part you can either, depending on how high up your Storm's Eye is, so you want a Storm's Eye that's at about, you want about 20 seconds within that to be able to hit all 8 Fell Cleaves, probably a little bit more. If you have about 24 seconds, 23 seconds, you want to be able to hit all 8 Fell Cleaves within that portion. The big trick to this is really being able to hit 5 within the burst phase, within your true burst when you first hit Infuriate. So I'm going to run that one again, show the different variations of it, and then I'll actually run both of them seriously, and you can see what I'm doing when I'm actually, or at least what I'm trying to do when I'm actually in combat. So again here, I'm going to open with a Heavy Swing, Infuriate's up, immediately hit the Infuriate. I pop up Storm's Eye. Storm's Eye just came up. Now I'm going to hit for 1 Fell Cleave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I get all 5 off there. So this is what I call the early burst, and it's basically if you are in a fight where your mechanics are touching down sooner and you have less time to do a burst phase, you have less time to build up your beast gauge. In those situations, I usually try to go for an early burst where I don't build up the beast gauge, I don't care about the 8 fell cleaves, I'll lace them in. I'll lace in extra fell cleaves as I have to throughout. From what I can tell, the 8 fell cleave actually tends to do a little bit more damage because you're putting up a lot more damage in single bursts, so it doesn't get lost elsewhere. But for this, in this situation, it's if you're trying to get in as many of your burst phases as possible, you want it to be on cooldown for other mechanics, because remember, for a warrior, when you go into burst phase, it locks you in place. So knockback mechanics will, for the most part, not apply to you. In the case of like Doom Train, where it can knock you off the edge, it's perfect because usually your burst phase will last all the way through Remorse, as well as the Doom Headlamp, whatever the heck it's called. Now I'm just kind of messing around. Usually after that opener, I'll get a little bit more serious on the next run. In fact, here I'll do another 8 fell cleave based burst phase. So here your goal is, you can see I'm ticking down, I got about 14 seconds left. I'm at 70 on my beast gauge. I'm gonna clip a little bit here. I'll go to 100% and then I'll push around. It's a little bit of waste on this one because I kind of popped it in the beginning. I'm gonna wait till that's till almost my global cooldown is done. Then I'm gonna go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I put that Infuriate in there so it's ready for that last 8, and there we go. So there's some things I didn't really explain in this. One is that before you go to pop I have to remember what they call this because it's mixed with inner release. There's internal release for monks, there's inner release for warriors. So before you go to pop inner release, you want to make sure that your global cooldown is pretty much all the way cooled down, or most of the way cooled down, so that you can almost instantly go into an action. If you're sitting there waiting for a half a second, you will not get that 5th fell cleave off, and if you think about it, that's going to be on average, in your worst case situation, about 10k, and I'm saying, really bad gear, things are broken, whatever, about 10k on the low end, all the way up for myself to probably about 17 or 18, and I'm sure there are other warriors out there that are putting up 20 to 21,000. So it's a big loss of DPS. Imagine if you're hitting, between, 14 to 20,000 for each fell cleave, you're missing 20,000 damage every time you go into your burst phase. And burst phase comes up, I believe, about every 90 seconds. So in a normal boss fight, you can hit it about 3 to 4 times easily, if not more. If not quite a bit more. I don't think it's actually 90. What is your cooldown? Yeah, no, cooldown's 90, so you can hit it quite a bit more than that. I'm not even... I remember it for when I have to use it for mechanics. But I'm going to go through this one more time. I'm going to try to do this a little bit smoother, and then I'll show you the full opener and try to talk through it. I apologize, this isn't super organized. I'm doing this on a giant TV, so I'm standing in front of it while I'm doing it. Alright, so open with Heavy Swing. We're going to go into Infuriate. Now we're going for the eye combo. The eye buff is up. I'm going to do an 8 fell cleave type to open here. So I'm going to wait till I get my beast gauge all the way up. I've got 24 seconds left. I'm going to wait a sec. Everything's cooled down. First fell cleave. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. 7th, this is off GCD on Infuriate, and there's the 8th, and we got about 4 seconds left on I. Now I'm gonna put my I combo back up. I've got 66, 65 seconds left on my refresh time for IR. So now what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna pop off both of my off GCDs, Onslaught and Upheaval. Build up again, I still have about 17 seconds. So I have at least another fell cleaves worth in here. Pop that up. Basically, everything I'm doing is going to be staying within the path combo. I'm going to be popping off Onslaught as often as possible, and then refreshing the Storm's Eye right before it falls off. So it's kind of fast paced, and any chance I get, I'm going to try to get this up to have a little bit extra. I want to pop Upheaval, and then I want to Infuriate, because at this stage your Fell Cleave is also refreshing your Infuriate time. You're knocking off 5 seconds every Fell Cleave, so every time Infuriate's up, you want to be you want to maximize the number of Fell Cleaves you're doing while it's up, not outside of it. If you fall off, it's not a big deal. So here I'm gonna go for another 8 if I can do it. I'm gonna build all the way up. So I'm at 70. I'll be at 80 I'll be at 90 after this. I'm gonna go up and grab Storm's Eye right before this pops through. I got my buff fully refreshed. Wait a couple seconds. I can go right into the first Fell Cleave, Upheaval, second Fell Cleave, Onslaught, third Fell Cleave, fourth, fifth, sixth. You're going to see it pop off. I'm going to Infuriate here, seventh, and then eighth right at the end. And there you go. That's an 8 Fell Cleave. Now it's only a little bit different. There's not much that differs on the in-between for what I call the fast burst, where your early burst phase, where you go into burst pretty much right away. Generally with those, let's do something that's a little bit more challenging. The only problem with that is you end up with the striking dummies, at least you're hanging up at the end. But again, if in a real fight you're not looking at a striking dummy, you're dealing with mechanics. If you're looking to get rid of your mechanics, or deal with mechanics quickly, this is kind of the way to do it. So I'm going to put up my burst, I'll hit my first Fell Cleave, and then I'll go right into my burst phase. 2, 3, 4, and I might have missed it, 5 right there. And now I'm still waiting for my, I'm still going to be waiting for my Infuriate to come up. I'm actually going to pop another Fell Cleave to accelerate that. Now my Storm's Eye is about to pop off, so I popped just an off global cooldown Onslaught there. I try to time with this one. I'm timing it a lot. What I do a lot more around the cooldown time. I want to get in about 2 upheavals while I'm waiting for my burst phase to come back up. And that corresponds really well. So the first upheaval I'm hitting, I think, at about 60 seconds, and then the second one I'm going to be hitting a little bit closer to about 20 seconds, which is closer to upheaval's refresh time. That will be up again while I'm in burst phase. You do want to try to get it so that your upheaval and your onslaught are both up during your burst phase, because it's a lot of extra damage. So I can Infuriate here. I can sneak in right there. I got one more upheaval, I've got one more onslaught, and now I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to use them again. I'm going to fill my beast gauge. I can actually pop off Fell Cleave here. They don't all have to be the same. I'm going to come back, refresh my Storm's Eye buff, and wait a couple seconds. Now I can go right into that Fell Cleave. I'm going to open here with Onslaught. That's my third. Lace in as Upheaval comes up. Fourth. This will be fifth. And actually I could have, and I really should have, popped my, laced in my Infuriate as it came up. I've been messing around a lot more with the 8 Fell Cleave combo, so I'm used to kind of waiting on it till the very end. But also, I'm really glad to know that this is helpful. I hope that it's helpful. I've been messing around with this for quite a while. Here we go, we're gonna pop in another Fell Cleave. I'm gonna do 2 Fell Cleaves here, why not? Now let's see what we can get. I'm gonna fall a little bit behind on my time. All right, 23 seconds. That's about 23, 22 seconds remaining for Sigma 1 Savage. I'm a 356 warrior. That doesn't surprise me. I'm not stancing while I'm doing it. This is no food, no other main like strength potions or buffs. The other thing that I would say is in like serious raiding, and I'm starting to get better at this. I'm not a hardcore serious raider, but I am trying to learn it. I'm trying to get better at it. Again, I'm more of an armchair warrior type. But the one thing that I'm really pushing for is trying to time dropping in potions really right before your burst phase, just as you're popping off your just as you're popping off the start of your Storm's Eye, refreshing your Storm's Eye. In a raid, you may consider popping off a strength potion right before you go into burst. Wait till you wait till your GCD's all the way down, and then you hit your first fell cleave, or then you hit IR and then hit your first fell cleave. You don't want to be doing it too much sooner because you will miss that fifth. The other thing, I don't know if anybody noticed, I'm playing on PlayStation, so I'm hitting my fell cleave about 75% of the way into the button, maybe between 75 and 80% of it, 85% of it completing its GCD. That works for me. That's the soonest I can get it with my frame rate to actually register the input. You don't want to do it before because then you'll lose it, so it's almost better. I tend to pick it up right at like kind of the tail end of the axe. I'll move my mouse. So right at about, if you see it come to right about here, a little bit past here, you can go ahead and hit it and we'll register on PlayStation. I'm not using crazy internet. I don't have anything like out there that's amazing. So I think this should be pretty broadly applicable, at least to PS4 users. I'm going to do the same thing again, but now we're going to do it with an 8 fell cleave. And this is actually what I'm using during this fight right now, because we're running it through with our team. And I use an 8 fell cleave build-up. It doesn't match up as well with the mechanics, but it does a lot more damage in this particular fight. So again, I'm opening up here, and I'm actually going to cook my first fell cleave because I usually have to, and then I'm just going to build up. So I'm going to spend this time building up my beast gauge. I'm not using my off GCDs. I'm really just kind of focusing in on getting my beast gauge up and getting ready for a really large burst phase. So I have 9 seconds, but I'm going to clip, I'm going to refresh, and here we go, right into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to infuriate, 7, 8, and I've got 12 seconds left on my Storm's Eye, so I'm gonna just keep going. It's up there, it's fine. I'm gonna drop my first onslaught here. 4 seconds left, so I'm gonna refresh. Storm's Eye just popped off, and I popped it back up again, and followed it up with onslaught, or with upheaval. I'll have another onslaught now. Now I'll be building up, both are in cooldowns, I'll be building up the next part is going to be a fell cleave. 13 seconds. Infuriate will be up. And I'm going to use that pretty much as fast as I can. Refresh my Storm's Eye. I'm going to go into fell cleave, and on the off GCD, I will use upheaval. Now I've got about 20 seconds left. So that's the second upheaval waiting for my burst phase to come back up, and that's the last onslaught that I'll be doing. I made a mistake there. I used Storm's Eye instead of Storm's Path. It's not going to kill me, but it's not perfect. In this case, I won't have to come back and dip into Storm's Eye. It should be up in time. So I wait my half a second, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm dipping in. I'm probably going to lose my bonus here. Yep, it'll just pop off on the last fell cleave. So I mistimed that a bit. You can see what ends up happening there. We're at 6%. I'm going to go ahead and go for the build-up. I'll try to grab in another fell cleave here. I'll get my buff up now. Pop off the fell cleave. That's going to leave me at 1%. Still a little bit worse off this time. I think losing my buff didn't help. And obviously crit's a little bit of luck. So that's about 16 seconds, 15, 16 seconds there. So I hope that helps. That's kind of my rough overview DPS opener. The next and kind of the last part of that is everything you can do with a fell cleave, everything you can do with is something you can do with Decimate. It's also something you can do with Steel Cyclone. When you're dungeon tanking, when you're looking to heal yourself and you have a huge pool of ads, generally I'll run into that ad set if I can. Obviously I'll have Rampart up, and then I'll pop Vengeance and Awareness to limit critical, and so that I have an extra little bit of auto attack. And then I'll just go ahead and go into burst phase, and it's the same concept. You pop burst phase early, you wait that second, make sure your GCD is almost all the way finished, pop your burst phase, and then you Steel Cyclone, and you can time it again down, 5 Steel Cyclones in a run. It's a lot of self heals, it can actually do a lot of damage. After that, the thing you'll lace in if you're dungeon tanking, if you're not out of tank stance, if you're sitting there in Defiance, you'll pop Unchained, which is this guy over here. You pop Unchained while you're in between your burst phases, while you're not using Steel Cyclone or Inner Beast, because those already remove the damage penalty for being in that stance, or at least they used to. But in between, when I'm building up, again, it doesn't matter whether you're in DPS stance, in Deliverance, or you're in Defiance. You pretty much run Storm's Eye, Storm's Path. A good thing to always keep in mind here is that your Onslaught generates a crap ton of enmity, and it really does. Inner Beast generates enmity. Steel Cyclone is what I call a table wiper. It's always been that way. It got degraded a little bit after Stormblood, but it's still really fantastic for grabbing aggro off of people, and it's a huge group AoE grab. And that's about it. I was trying to keep this one a little bit short, but I hope this is helpful. I'm going to pop off for now. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about warrioring, if you have better suggestions, I'm open to them. Hit me up and have fun. And I have to actually pop off now. Super Struggles, thank you very much for joining me. And hope this will be helpful for everybody. Till then, take care, and I'll see you on the next installment of something crazy. Probably another culinary vid. Take it easy.